So, do you guys remember last year when I made a video called The Wokening, which was to talk about the whole hype surrounding Black Panther, and where a lot of people were going crazy over non-black people seeing the movie and, attacking people on Rotten Tomatoes that made any bad criticisms of Black Panther? Yeah, that was stupid, wasn't it? Only this time it's resurfaced, but it's under a different name. The Larsening. Yeah, this video is about Captain Marvel. Hey everybody, this is Atticus the Death Meddler, and before I get down on the topic at hand here, yes I know, bear with me here people. I just have to do a longly overdue retraction and an apology to anybody that saw any offense onto my Black Panther rant, in which, yes, there were parts that I was very wrong onto that video. I never understood the true meaning of Black Panther, which, yes, there are a ton of black superheroes, but this was a film to show off the positive aspects of African culture. We see movies like Hotel Rwanda, Black Hawk Down, Tears of the Sun, Blood Diamond, to show off the horrible, miserable aspects of what life is like in Africa. Yeah, I fucking get it. So yeah, this film was to show off the very positive, great aspects of African culture. Someone who has Polish and Irish roots into him as an American, if I can celebrate my heritage from Poland and Ireland, then why shouldn't African Americans celebrate their heritage from which African nation they came from? I think every race, ethnicity, and group of people should be proud of where they came from and embrace their culture and embrace their heritage because it makes them very unique. I just want to get that out of the way real quick onto Black Panther and back onto the topic, the main topic at hand here, so that finally you people can shut up. So, Captain Marvel, the recent installments of the MCU starring Brie Larson, aka what I call the Larsening, who plays as Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. Seeing that this is the origin stories of Captain Marvel before the climactic endgame of the Avengers, in which Carol Danvers is going to save the entire galaxy. She's going to absolutely annihilate Thanos, which in truth, Scott Lang is going to shove the entire Bible Belt up Thanos' ass. But yeah, I call it the Larsening because this whole type of mentality going on with, these certain movies with the overhypeness and just these movements, SJW mentalities just being thrown out onto these movies is just really bad for business, and it makes people don't want to watch the movie as well. But yeah, I saw the movie and I honestly thought it was alright. It wasn't like bad or good, it was just decent. It's just like, your typical, starter Marvel film, like, the first Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor movies. It had that kind of thing going on right there. It wasn't anything special or anything bad. It was okay. But God fucking forbid if I have a negative opinion on the movie, or just an alright opinion like I did on the movie, like people like Chris Stuckman, Sydney Watson, Computing Forever, and Star Wars Girl. Nah, we're all automatically conservative bigots that need an education, because, we don't know shit about Captain Marvel. Fucking Chris Stuckman is a film critic that, knows his stuff, knows what he's critiquing about. No, he's just a conservative that needs an education. Am I right, guys? And just the whole hype surrounding the Larsening is just really, really pathetic, honestly. You have Sci-Fi. The Sci-Fi Channel's site automatically dick riding the shit out of Captain Marvel. I always loved the Sci-Fi Channel when I was growing up in middle school, watching really shitty sci-fi original monster movies and stuff and just laughing at that shit. But I mean, automatically, you know, they pull up to the cultural Marxist SJW wagon, just dick riding the shit out of Captain Marvel, saying shit that, like, it will be, like, you know, better than Wonder Woman when, I mean, Wonder Woman was a thing 2 years ago, and it was way better than Captain Marvel, in my opinion. I think a lot of people will agree that Wonder Woman was a lot better, and that, you know, Diana Prince had a lot more charisma than that of Captain Marvel and stuff, which I will get to later. Not to mention you have these fucking tweets right here, and people saying that, you know, men aren't allowed to watch, you know, Captain Marvel, when in fact, I mean, that same mentality was there when it came to the Ghostbusters reboot, and, you know, the Wonder Woman movie 2 years ago. And then, you know, of course, you had Black Panther with all these, like, woke motherfuckers saying that anybody white can't watch it, when, in fact, I watched Black Panther myself, and I didn't get any, like, you know, woke people going after my ass and shit. But, I mean, I hate this mentality. I really fucking hate this mentality. Because automatically, we're here to watch the movies, and people like me want to critique about the movie. And this is the one thing that Captain Marvel really fucking lacks onto that movie. I mean, Captain Marvel did have some parts that are, like, very important to the upcoming Endgame movie, but it was just like, you know, it was just a little bit bland for me, especially towards Brie Larson's depiction of Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. I mean, Brie Larson is actually a pretty good actor, despite her being just a typical basic white bitch feminist. I mean, she did good in that film Room, which, you know, she was basically a sex slave, you know, kept there for God knows how long with her son that she conceived for, like, you know, rape by her captor and stuff. But I most know her best on Kong Skull Island with fellow you know, MCU actors Tom Hiddleston and Samuel L. Jackson, as well as John Goodman. I mean, Kong Skull Island was alright, but I mean, it will never compete to that of Peter Jackson's King Kong, especially that epic clash Kong had with the V-Rex instead of the skull crawlers. I'm getting a little bit off topic here, so I'm gonna get right to the point here. But what I really did not like, what the film really lacked onto Captain Marvel, was that it lacked character transformation, character development, as well as the origin story was very jumpy, and we didn't really know a whole lot of Carol Danvers and how she became like this intergalactic space warrior and all this other shit. It was just really, really, really confusing for me and all this other stuff. And this is what really makes me laugh at some parts, because automatically Captain Marvel is just depicted as this Mary Sue, automatically badass woman that, you know, got her powers from this, you know, very high-tech space engine which was fueled by the Tesseract, and she was told at the very beginning to hold back her emotions, and the fact that we see in her past that she's been talked down so many damn times. Which, I mean, that shit indicates that, like, Brie Larson's character Carol Danvers was talked down so many goddamn times as a child, and just basically because she's a girl and stuff. Now, like, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of people, whether they're, like, you know, people that we see at work, or school, or college, or just, you know, anywhere in our lives, even our own family members, talk down on us so many goddamn times. It happens to all of us. It happens to all the best of us. But I mean, god damn it, like, women nowadays in the Western world, they can do almost anything. They can get, like, any job they want if they choose to go into those fields of work. They can have the abilities to, you know, go to these fields as well as choose their own fields of studies. But, you know, no. Western women have it bad here in the West. I mean, they're not like those women up in Kyrgyzstan and where they're basically kidnapped by these guys in order for them to be their brides. really do have a feel that a lot of incels are gonna go to Kyrgyzstan after Count Dankula's video. Oh god. She's just seen as this, you know, Mary Sue, automatically badass character that is supposed to empower women. I'm sorry, but, like, it was just the most blandest character I have seen in the entire MCU. What's really sad is that there's a bunch of really badass female characters that gone through character transformation, that gone through character development. And, you know, they had to struggle and all this other shit, but I will get to that later in a minute right here, people. Now, of course, you know, we have all these other characters of the MCU, like Tony Stark, Iron Man, Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Thor. Tony Stark started off as a billionaire playboy genius that was completely selfish until, like, you know, the weapons that he sold to, you know, militaries around the world was used against him in Afghanistan, and, you know, he's kept under a Taliban hideout, escapes with a handmade iron suit, and thus, you know, he becomes Iron Man. He becomes, you know, selfless throughout the entire MCU. He cares more about Pepper Potts. He cares a lot about other people. He develops PTSD throughout his, you know, his battles, you know, mostly in the first Avengers movie. I mean, Tony Stark has really changed throughout the years. Steve Rogers, Captain America, he wanted to serve his nation by punching Nazis, but he really was a wimp until he goes through a scientific experiment that changes his body forever, becoming a super soldier, fights along with his best friend Bucky Barnes, loses his best friend Bucky Barnes, gets frozen forever while punching the Red Skull Nazi, and then comes back, you know, after being frozen for an entire century, loses everyone, the woman that he loves dies in Civil War, he reunites with his best friend Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier, you know, he's seen as like a bad guy, and then, you know, he goes into a civil war with the other Avengers because he wants to stick with his best friend Bucky Barnes and stuff. That's pretty heroic shit right there. Thor, man, like, Thor was seen as this very cocky, you know, selfish, you know, demigod that only saw his powers as like a perk to do whatever the fuck he wants till he fucks around into like the ice giant realm, loses all of his powers, then realizes that being a demigod is a huge hell of a responsibility, regains his power, goes, you know, into fights with Loki, his adopted brother, and, you know, we see later on he's become very hardened throughout his experiences, and he realizes, no, being a ruler of Asgard is a big responsibility that he's made. He's really matured over the years. And yeah, I mean, automatically see all these superheroes as all these badass motherfuckers that think, you know, oh, automatically we're badass. But they went through change. They went through character development and character transformations. Oh, I also fucking forgot. Peter Quill, Star-Lord, he's been through some shit. I mean, the very first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he witnesses his mother die from brain cancer. In Volume 2, he loses both his biological father, Ego, and his daddy, Yondu, few seconds later. And, you know, we see that it really fucks him up in Infinity War when he realizes that Thanos kills Gamora and stuff. And he is sick and tired of, you know, he just loses it after losing Gamora, the only woman that he loved and stuff. That's character development right there. So, I mean, we see that those superheroes, no matter how much we think on how badass these guys are, they've been through a lot of shit that really hardened them throughout the years of the MCU. It really shaped them for who we are to see how they're gonna act in Endgame and stuff. But I mostly want to talk about female characters I really do like and really look up to. Women that I know of. With the first one, Ellen fucking Ripley, especially in the Aliens movie. I mean, Ellen Ripley doesn't have superpowers like Captain Marvel, but we see later on into the movie, after her experiences in the first Alien movie and dealing with the space colonial marines that are all like gung-ho motherfuckers, especially Bill Paxton's character Hudson, thinking that, yeah, we're gonna do shit, and then shit hits the fan and, you have, Hudson flipping his shit until he goes on a gung-ho last stand to ultimately meeting his demise. And Ellen Ripley, goes down into the heart of the xenomorph lair to find Newt and just blow all the xenomorphs to oblivion. And she does it, with this maternal instincts, basically Newt, her supposed adopted daughter and stuff. She looks at her as more of an adopted daughter and all that shit. And we cannot forget that epic battle between her and the Xenomorph Queen.
Get away from her, you bitch!
I mean, my God, Ellen Ripley was absolutely a badass. Not because she was a badass, because she had to be a gung-ho badass in order to save Newt and blow all of these disgusting, terrifying aliens to oblivion. Another, good female character, Brienne of Tarth of Game of Thrones. Season 2, we see her as a knight ready to serve. And she's failed throughout the entire Game of Thrones, series. She loses Renly Baratheon. She fails her duties into saving Arya Stark and Sansa Stark. But she ultimately, meets up and protects Sansa Stark. And she's failed a lot. But ultimately, her failures have really strengthened Brienne of Tarth into the woman that she will become into the final battle against, the Long Night. Another character of Game of Thrones, and I know a lot of people are going to really hate me for bringing her up, but, I'm bringing her up just for the sake of it. Arya Stark. Yeah, I know Arya Stark can be somewhat of a brat, but Arya Stark has gone through a lot of shit. I mean, she witnesses her dad, Ned Stark, get decapitated at the finale of season 1. She's basically a fugitive of her own country, hangs around with Tywin Lannister and Harrenhal, tags along with Sandor Clegane after hanging out with the Brotherhood of No Banners, and right when she's about to reunite with her mother and brother, the Red Wedding happens. Tags along more with Sandor Clegane, and then, abandons Sandor to his death after Brienne of Tarth beats the shit out of him, sails over to Braavos to complete her training with the god of death of Braavos, comes back, assassinates, Walder Frey and completely destroys the entire bloodline of the Frey house and becomes the most badass assassin in Westeros that will ultimately face the White Walkers at the final battle, the finale of Game of Thrones right there. So Arya Stark has gone through a lot of character development and stuff. I know a lot of people don't like Arya Stark's personality and stuff, but face it, people, she's been through a lot, and all that stuff has hardened her to becoming the most badass assassin in Westeros, because she was very fucking determined to, make her list of all the people that she wanted to kill. But yeah, if they decided to do a little bit more character transformation and development towards Carol Danvers and added, a little bit more stuff onto her origins, and not add in all the feminist bullshit, it would have been a lot better and a lot more enjoyable. It is what it is. Now, honestly, if you want to watch a film that is out right now with a very badass female character, but also goes through development and transformation throughout the entirety of the movie, watch Alita Battle Angel. Trust me, Alita Battle Angel is a lot better and a lot more entertaining than Captain Marvel. I mean, Alita shows a lot more humanity than Carol Danvers ever will. And she's a fucking cyborg, for Christ's sakes. But yeah, don't take my word for it. If you want to have a very strong opinion on Captain Marvel, don't take it from me. Watch it yourself and come up with your own thoughts and opinions on the Captain Marvel. So yeah, there we go. So without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are down in the description below. keep it metal, and have an excellent and blessed day. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to clean up my car.